What is going on, everybody? Glorious, glorious day. Hey, we're at the halfway point of the Bills season. We only have 2 losses. And the halfway point doesn't happen to be week 4 this time. It's week 9, and we only got 2 losses. Can't believe it. Great win today. Great team win. We came out, we looked good, we dominated a team that we wanted to dominate on, I think, on both sides of the ball. And we're going to talk about it. I have Micah Podges with me to really talk about this. Clayton Garrett, what's up?
Hey, how's it going today? Bills have their best start this millennium. It's a good day. It's a good season so far. Can't wait to talk about today.
And my guy Fred Kilmartin, and you know the Bills won today, so you know what time that is. It's time for Buckethead Fred.
That's right. So the last time the Buffalo Bills were 6-2 was in 1993. So this
Clayton, were you born yet?
No. -7.
All right.
93. I was alive and well. That was the same year that we had the greatest comeback in NFL history.
All right. So, guys, Devin Singletary, we gave the kid the ball. We asked for the last couple of weeks to please run the damn ball. Just run the damn ball. And today, we seemed like the focal point in the tweaks that Sean McDermott had mentioned earlier in the week. We ran the ball, and guess what happened? Good things happened, and we won this damn game. So what do you guys think of Devin Singletary's performance today, man? Fred, I'm coming to you.
I'm going to tell you something right now. I was very impressed with him. I thought the offensive line was actually having a good time out there, just running and pushing people around. I was not so much impressed with Devin Singletary, but my man Spain. I mean, he was down the field, I don't know, numerous times on making blocks for this kid. He was opening up holes for him. And it was very impressive to watch this kid run. I noticed that one thing, he's a one cut and he's gone. He's sort of like a Shady McCoy, but a little smaller, a little faster. But I was definitely impressed with him. I was really hoping he would have got 100 yards. I'm glad the Buffalo Bills, being Sean McDermott, I'm glad you guys listened to the Cold Front Report. We said these guys need to run the ball a little bit more. Thank you for listening to us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm just positively they watched the Cold Front Report and got their scout report for next week. Because that's what we do at the Cold Front Report. We give Brandon Bean and Sean McDermott their scout reports. Clay, what you think of today, man? What do you think about the offensive game plan and also the running game today?
I mean, if you look at the Redskins, this is the 28th ranked run defense in the league, the 4th worst run defense in the league. And while they have a talented front, their linebackers, they're subpar. They have a subpar linebacking core. And I thought that if the Bills' offense was going to have success today, it was going to be on the ground with Devin Singletary and with Frank Gore. Not so much with Frank Gore today, but Devin Singletary had 140 scrimmage yards, and that's the most in 2 seasons by any Bills running back. It was a great day for Devin Singletary. They got him involved all throughout the game. Most of his carries coming into this week came in the second half of games. But we saw him from the first quarter to the last quarter. He had 20 carries, I think 3 catches, right? Yeah, 3 catches and 20 carries. He only had 20 carries coming into the game all season. It seems that he's healed up from that hamstring injury that he had a couple of weeks ago that sidelined him for 3 or 4 games, I believe. And, you know, he looked live and well today. He was tearing him up. As Fred said, he's a one-cut running back. He's not as fast as LaShawn McCoy, but he's very decisive with his cuts. And when he finds a hole, he's going to cut up into it and get what he can out of the play.
Right. But I got a question for you guys, because I always have a question. You know, we have to take the good with the good, but we also have to look for the bad. I thought today that we focus on the play action pass a little bit more. Thank God, because we've been asking for that. This Josh Allen, if you want to go by the numbers, he's most effective this season when operating with the play action pass. And when you have a running game that's averaging 4 to 5 yards to carry a game, guess what? Your play action is normally effective. Ask Joe Flacco, he's still getting paid off of that. But were we a little too conservative today is my question. And I don't want to nitpick Brian Daboll, but it seemed like we were a little too conservative. Fred?
I think so, absolutely. I was going to touch on that. You know, my thing is that we all know that Josh Allen has that arm. I myself, and I'm sure everybody else, wants to see this kid take more shots down the field. But not only just take these shots, I want him to complete these passes. He's missing these receivers by maybe yards, just a couple of yards, and then we could see this is what we brought this kid in here. This is what we thought he was going to be. I really thought they were playing a little bit more, like you say, vanilla a little bit so much. I mean, they got the running game going. We know that, okay? But now we want to start seeing this passing game involved, and we want to see these deep shots down the field. We got some speedster. We had McKenzie in there today. Duke Williams was inactive, so we had a lot of speed on this team today. So I myself would like to see them take some more shots down the field, but I want to see him complete these passes. That's what I'm looking for. I want to see him, throw the bombs. That's what I'm looking for.
Now you touch you, Clay. You like bombs?
I like bombs, but we haven't completed one yet this season. But
Yeah.
I want to touch on the end of Fred's point of how Isaiah McKenzie was active today. You saw the impact that he had today.
Yeah.
Now, I want to touch on how important it was showing that look of the jet sweep. Okay, they show the look of the jet sweep practically every play that was outside of the red zone. I think there was one or two inside the red zone that they ran that as well. Now, they run that just about every single play, but come the third and fourth quarter, the defense keyed in on it. The defense keyed in on it, that it was just a look, it was a bluff, and they weren't going to give him the ball. They only gave him the ball once, and that was early in the first quarter, I believe on the first or second series. Now, if you want to keep defenses honest, you have to run that sweep. That's not so much of a conservative play call. That's not a typical play that you're going to see. It's not the I formation where you're just going to run it up the gut with Frank Gore, Devin Singletary. It's a jet sweep. It's far more risky. There's a little more margin for error. But why don't you run it? Why didn't you run it to keep them off balance? That was the one thing that I was scratching my head about today. And as far as conservative play calling goes, I mean, it doesn't seem like Brian Daboll and his play calling can find a middle ground. Because one series, you're running all this cute stuff inside the 5-yard line. And then the next series, you're just running your head into the wall. 4 plays in a row, they inevitably scored a touchdown. But there was no creativity on that second series where they inevitably scored. But on the first one, it was far too much. You have to find a middle ground. And I think Brian Daboll is still trying to find his way, as is Josh Allen. Josh Allen's still in the middle of his process himself. And the result is what you see on Sundays.
Right. Well, let's talk about that second series a little bit. Because like I said, in our chat, I was extremely upset with that play call. And, your running game gets you down there. And this is a chance, again, to go up 2 scores on a team. And I think last week versus the Eagles, we almost had a chance to go up 2 scores before half, before the Josh Allen fumble. And too many times this year, and I'm seeing this weird things on the goal line. I understand it was RPO, it was a rail run pass option. Screw the run pass option. Give it to Frank Gore, let him get it in there, and give it to him 2 times. Frank Gore's a veteran. He knows how to squeak balls in at the goal line. If he didn't, he probably wouldn't still be in this league. But I had a problem with the RPO, and obviously maybe Josh Allen should have thrown the ball away. But we've seen that our quarterback has not been as protective with the football as he should be. So maybe we should have been a little bit more careful. I actually was expecting a QB sweep, but maybe we just weren't going to run that today.
None of them this week.
Well, thankfully.
0.
Fred,
Thankfully.
I mean, what did you think inside the goal line, Fred?
I thought we were a little vanilla. I think we got to be more aggressive. I really think that they have the talent on this team to be aggressive. You have Dawson Knox, you have Tyler Croft, so you have him in there. I mean,
I
you
didn't
got
see him today much. Matter of fact,
no, but you saw
Just blocking.
Dawson out there. He had two attempts. At one, he should have had a touchdown. I thought that he was in, but I guess he was down just short of the goal line. But I mean, I think we got to be aggressive. You have the talent. You have different types of weapons on this offense. You got to get more aggressive. Stop trying to let the defense dictate what you're going to do. Let the offense start dictating what the defense has to do. Let the defense has to adjust to us. And I don't think that we're doing it. I think we're still trying to find the identity. And I think what I'm noticing with Daboll is that he's trying to adjust to the game plan, to the team that we're playing. I think we just got to step back, come out there, and be ourselves. Stop worrying about what that team is doing. Come out there with our game plan, not their game plan.
You know, I don't even with Daboll. I mean, I think all coordinators pretty much make a game plan towards the team we're playing. But what I think what the real problem is when he makes that game plan, he sticks to that game plan. Mm-hmm. And no matter what happens, good or bad, we're not able to adjust.
Right.
And this has been a problem since last season. We are not able to adjust our game plan at all. I mean, once it's set in stone, that's what we're doing that game, and we ain't going much further out of that. We may get a flea flicker reverse, some type of crap around the 5-yard line at some point, but we ain't switching out of that. I think that's your problem.
Yeah.
His lack of mid-game adjustments, it's really been a sore spot, as you've touched on, since last season. But you look at these games where the Bills are playing a quote-unquote inferior opponent. You look at go back to the Bengals game. Go back to even the Patriots game where the Bills were unable to adjust in the middle of the game, in the early portion of the game, to go back to that short rhythm passing to get Josh Allen more in a rhythm where he's not chucking it 40 yards downfield. The inability to make mid-game adjustments has really been what's stagnated the offense so far this year. And that's really why coming to this game, they only converted 35% of their third downs the previous 3 games. I mean, luckily today they converted 50%, but you're going up against the 31st ranked defense as far as stopping teams on third down. That's really why they have far more rhythm today on the offensive side of the ball.
And that's where I think we have to get more aggressive is on third downs. I mean, I'm serious. A lot of our third downs this year have been like under 3rd and 5. A lot of them have been short, and we're not picking them up. And I think that is one point that is hurting this offense right now this time of year is that we should be converting these third downs. We should probably be around 70%. We were 50% today, and I've been saying it all year. Our third down play calling is kind of suspect. You got to get aggressive. You got to pick this up and stop putting our defense out on that field. That's the problem. We need these long, sustained drives. We have the offense to do that, but when we're not picking up these third downs, now you're putting your defense in a tough spot where they have to fight and claw their way to keep the opponent out of the end zone.
I will say this. I like the play call to throw it downfield to Robert Foster on 3rd and 9. I like that play call. And Josh Allen had a really nice ball. I think it led to Singletary's touchdown where it was 3rd and 18 right after somebody's holding penalty. And he struck it right down to John Brown after he dropped a pass. I like those 2 play calls, and I like the deep shot to Robert Foster. I just want to see Josh Allen hit on one of these deep balls, man. I want to see him hit on one of these deep strikes downfield because that's what he was really good at that last season. Well, I wouldn't say he was really good at it, but he has this strong arm. You want to be able to use it for deep plays downfield to be able to stretch defenses out.
Last year, he led the league actually in yardage, 20 yards over passes, 20 yards or longer. He led the league.
But I can tell you what, the difference from his deep balls in week 1 and 2 to his balls now, today, those balls are, like you said, Fred, they're a yard or 2 away. Week 1 or 2, I mean, God, he was overthrowing these guys by 6-7 yards.
Yep.
You know what I think it is, and I'm gonna say this. I think that Josh Allen has to adjust to the wind up in Buffalo. I want to see what he does. This is his 3rd game now. 2 of the games that we've had 25 to 30 mile per hour winds. He's got to adjust. People don't understand that wind in Buffalo. One goalpost could be going this way, the other one's going that way. You got to learn to adjust. Jim Kelly was perfect. He adjusted to that. I want to see what he does now away from Buffalo in a different field. I want to see that we've taken these shots. Maybe the wind is that he's trying to adjust to that wind. Maybe too much touch, not enough touch. Let's see what he does on the road and to take a couple of these shots deep.
Well, that win ain't going to help him because you got a game coming up in Pittsburgh later year. You got a game coming up in Cleveland next week. A couple more home games. So if he can't deal with the win, he ain't going to win with it anywhere because these games, I mean, maybe Dallas, Thanksgiving, maybe Miami, but you only have a few more games where you actually have games potentially with low wins. But no, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, I was just really excited to see us come down there and let our offensive line be dominant. Like I said, the strength of this offensive line is definitely in the interior. And like you said, Quentin Spain, let's not leave John Feliciano out either. Between Quentin Spain, Mitch Morse, and John Feliciano, those guys are playing good ball. And they're moving people around. That's what you really want to see from your defense. I mean, from your offensive line. But we have a couple questions here. Mark Clements wants to know how many balls did John Brown had dropped today? I believe
one. It was just one. It was just that one. It was just that one deep out route that it went right through his hands where Josh eluded the pocket. It was a great evasive play by him in the pocket, but he only dropped that one ball in my recollection.
And I'll tell you right now, he should have caught that ball. He was He was a good 4 yards away from and it touched his hand. He was good. He could have caught that ball, and he probably could have actually stopped and maybe picked up a couple extra yards. That ball hit his hand, and that was a solid play by Josh Allen to elude the pressure, like Clayton had said. I mean, he rolled out of he was dead in the water. I thought he was dead in the water.
Yeah, I mean, he dropped the one ball. Yeah, listen, I'm not hopping on John Brown.
No,
okay, I'm not hopping on John Brown at all. He showed up every game, and again today he had another 76 yards receiving, 7 targets.
He's the only Bills receiver to ever do that, other than Andre Reed. Last time a Bills receiver did that was 88-89 when Andre Reed did it.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I'm not gonna hop down this guy's throat. He's been playing great ball. He's gonna make mistakes here and there. We have a question from Mike Davis. The offensive game plan changes instantly when the Bills have any sort of lead. Do you guys think that the game plan changes? Do you think we get a little conservative with the lead? Fred?
Yeah.
I you know what? I kind of do. Listen, here's the way I was taught. All right, I've coached football, and there was a time before I played an opponent, and we were up 19-0. And I thought, let's relax. They came back. We almost lost the game. You got to keep your foot on the pedal at all times. I wouldn't let my foot up. That's what I'm saying. I think we do. I kind of think we do. I think we try different things here and there. Oh, that's only what I'm seeing. But for me, Patriots way, bury them.
JT, you and I have
Patriots way.
How many times you seen the Patriots just bury teams? Keep running, keep passing.
You can't say Patriots way, Teddy Bruschi. Go ahead, Clayton.
Daboll wants to bring it here. Let's do it.
Listen,
he doesn't have what it takes to bring the Patriot way here.
You and I have talked a lot about it, about how Brian Daboll seems to coach in stints. And the stints really happen when the Bills get in leads and when they have 2-possession leads specifically. You see that first drive, and you saw how calculated it was. The execution was there. There wasn't really any griping about the play calling because the offense executed the plays that were called. Then you come into the second drive where the Bills are driving to get a 2-possession lead, and by the point where they're inside the 1-yard line, so they guarantee to have points, they start getting cute, and they don't get the touchdown, but they have a 2-possession lead. And then they extend it later on into the game again. Now, the Bills stuck around with 17 points. To my recollection, I think they only have 10 points in the third quarter this season. That's very indicative of the team either relaxing when they have a lead or not being able to catch up in the third quarter specifically.
I think we're the worst team in the league right now in third quarter, right?
We have 10 points.
Yeah,
that's all you can muster. The third quarter is 10 points. How many times have the Bills started the second half with the ball, and you have 10 points? That's horrible.
You should be coming out, Justin. You should be coming out of the locker room fired up, especially that we got the ball.
Well, listen, this reinforces what we said earlier about how this offense lacks adjustment at halftime or in the middle of the game. That's very indicative of why you only have 10 points in the third quarter. What is it? 8 games into the season now?
Yeah.
That 10 points in 8 games. Jesus.
Yeah. Well, I mean that has to mean that you're going to have the other defense coordinator of the opposite team is adjusting, and you're not adjusting to what they're doing. Right. That's what it means. Like I said. So we have a question here from our guy Travis. He says, "Does Singletary get those touches consistently?" Well, I have an answer for you, and I would like to say yes, but Brian Daboll has been consistently inconsistent. So I don't know what we're going to get next week. I don't know. I don't even know who's going to be active. I don't know who's going to be inactive. Duke Williams is inactive. Isaiah McKenzie was inactive last week. TJ Yeldon has been active in like 4 weeks, it seems. So I don't know what we're going to get. I would like to tell you, but I have no idea.
I'll tell you what, if we'd taken this running game approach last week, we might have been a little closer in that game.
Yeah.
When you're running back, when you got 2 running backs combined for 12 carries a game, I mean, with winds 25 to 30 miles per hour, like we touched on before, I mean, you're not going to get it done.
While we might gripe about how the Bills didn't really lay on the throttle and blow out this team,
they should have.
They controlled the game. They controlled the game from start to finish. It was never in question of whether or not they were going to win, other than that one point when it was like 17-9, and then they drove down the field.
Let me ask you guys both this question: do you feel against this team that was 1-7 and came into Buffalo in our house? Do you feel that we had a complete game against this team today?
I do.
I don't feel so.
I do. Well, where was if we didn't play a complete game? Where was the flaws at? Where was the complete at?
The inconsistent play call. I thought that we should have
down conversion.
I felt
down conversion.
What was that?
The 50% third down conversion.
That's good.
I think we should have had better.
That's better than they've done in the last month.
That's what I'm asking. You guys are saying it's inconsistent, but where? Show me for this game. Your running game was on point. Your passing game was efficient. It was 14-20 for 160. Okay, yeah, you went through dry spells, but yeah, you have a second-year quarterback who's finding a way. You have a coordinator who we know is probably in the bottom half or bottom tier of coordinators in the league. I'm going to call it for what it is. So I think to put up 24 points and hold this team to 9, I think we played a complete game. The complete is going to get.
You got to remember, we only had 17 points in the first half. So at the second half, we only scored 7 points.
I said that the team was going to win 24-10, and they won 24-9. I felt that was my expectation, was we were going to win by about 14 points today. So I wasn't really surprised by some of the problems that we saw pop up today as far as inconsistent play calling, inconsistent execution, some of the missed throws. Josh missed one near the end zone on a quick slant to John Brown. That would have been 6. And he missed that deep throw. There's just little things. But you can get away with them against a team like this and possibly against a team like you're facing next week. So I'm not really all that worried about it. When a team like Eagles come to town,
you don't want to live off that mentality that the next team I can do that and be okay.
Okay, but this is a young team in a young offense that's starting 8 new starters on that side of the ball. They're going to have growing pains. While I can gripe about the offensive play calling and execution all day long, they have 8 new starters on that side of the ball. They've only started 8 games together. They're going to have problems.
But normally 4 weeks in the NFL, you have an identity of what you.
And how many years have those guys been playing together, though?
But that doesn't matter. You still have. You got to.
What do you want? I mean, you want them to score one more touchdown, score 31 points?
I actually want to see them blow a team out. We haven't done it yet.
How many teams blow teams out in NFL?
Let me tell you this. I'll bring this up again.
No, really. I want to answer this question. How many of the dominant teams blow teams out in NFL? I just saw a Seahawks team barely beat a Buccaneer team today, 40-34 in overtime.
Well, that's a division game, though.
That's not a division.
It's not a division game.
Oh, no, it's not a division. I'm sorry.
I'm just asking. So who was so dominant this year they blew teams out?
I'm just saying that's what I want to see. That's me as a fan. I'm waiting to see that. I'm tired of these cardiac bills, all right? I want to see a blowout.
You bring up this point, and it reminds me of that people shouldn't get so caught up in how much the Bills are winning by.
No,
because guess what? That's a great problem to have. Your team's winning, and now you're stressing out by how much they're winning against quote-unquote inferior opponents.
You got to remember, I've been a Bills fan, and I remember those years that we used to lose those games that were close. And then in 89-90, we started finding a way to beat these teams by 1 point, 2 points. There was one stretch where we had, I think it was like 5 wins, and we had won 5 games by a combined score of 7 points.
I brought up this point before. The first year that Tom Brady started from start to finish, in 2003, when they won the Super Bowl, their average margin of victory was 9 points.
Mm-hmm.
Their average margin of victory was 9 points. That's by no means a blowout. That's barely 2 possessions. I'm fine with the Bills beating teams by 7, 8. I'm fine by the Bills winning. That's been their theme of this season is, yes, it's ugly from time to time. Yes, they'll get exploited from time to time. But at the end of the day, they have found ways to win more weeks than not.
And we kind of got out of this game healthy.
I gotta agree. I gotta agree with Clayton. I mean, the Patriots have dominated this league for the last 15 years, essentially, and we can only really remember one season where they just blew people off. Just blew them out the water.
Was that 07?
Yeah, and maybe 2. Like it's not a league for blowouts. It's not the NBA. It's not
it's the NFL.
Major League Baseball even. You know what I mean? This is football.
The NFL rather.
I don't know. Like I said, I think people get too locked into wanting them just to dominate. And I thought today was a dominant performance. I thought they can, like Clayton said, they controlled the game, the entire game, in my opinion. Not at one point in this game that I feel that this team could lose this game. There was one point in the third quarter where I felt the momentum could shift, and guess what? The defense got off the field after a horrible Borquest punt.
Oh my God!
Well, into the wind though. Remember, it was into the wind.
Well, let's talk about it, man. 15 yards.
It was
15 yards. That's a
yards.
No. That's a releasable punt. Why is nobody talking about?
He was still a 3 for 120, and he was averaging 40 yards after that.
Okay, but we're not pulling any punches here. We're not pulling any punches. There's no excuse for Josh Allen. There's no excuse for Brian Daboll. Why the hell are we making excuses for Corey Bojorquez? There was wind. Okay, there's wind for everybody.
I mean, he's only had one down inside the 20 in this game today too. I don't know why he's still here. I really don't.
It ain't much more on the market. I with the Sunday ticket, I watch a lot of other games. I can tell you they ain't a big huge stable of punters out there, man. It's some real. Oh God, it's horrible.
Murky.
But I mean, I'm not letting them off the hook. But you can't shank a punt at that point in time in the game.
And you know what? You got to remember that Bills fans are used to Brian Moore. I mean, you know what I mean? We had some good punters.
Matt Darr.
What's that?
No, stop it.
I'm just saying we've had good punters along the way that were used to kicking in Buffalo. And this kid really is strong. But you got to remember, he's still a young kid. He's just, second, third year in the league?
Yeah, well, punters are on a week-to-week contract, essentially. So you better be careful.
But when he was drafted by the Patriots, he was considered like a quarterback. He was like compared to like Josh Allen of punters. The kid has a leg. I haven't seen it. I'm hoping we
I've
see
seen it. I've seen it. It goes
Yeah,
through
one
the
last
back of
week.
the end zone this year. But listen, I don't want to spend too much time on Corey Bohr because I think that's one of the things that this team ain't going to change. So why spend time talking about things that are not going to change, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, we haven't changed anything at the OC. Haven't changed anything in special teams. I mean, we haven't put TJ Yeldon back in the lineup. So I mean, you know what? Whatever. We'll
Yeah.
bypass it. Hey, but you know what? A lot of people are clamoring. They really want to talk about the front seven and our where the hell is our rush defense? Our rush defense went the last couple of weeks. But we did have a poll out. What's the game plan too conservative today? 90% of you say yes. 10% of you say no. So a lot of people were not happy with that game plan today. So I'm gonna put up a poll. Are you concerned about the run defense? What did you guys see from our run defense today? Now obviously it was a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde of two halves. So I mean, Fred, what did you think? I mean,
I think there were some holes that we need to fix. Saying it, you guys have heard it from me. I think we need another stud linebacker on this team. I really do. I mean, we got a guy in Milano who's quick. He can take on a linebacker. We got a guy that can command the defense and trade Edmonds. I really think we need that other outside guy. We need a nasty type linebacker that's going to come up and fill a gap. I really think that's what we're missing on this defense. I really do. And these guys, I mean, I've seen plenty of times where Poyer came up to fill a gap. And then I seen Micah Hyde was up there, but I don't want to rely on my safeties to have to come all the way up there to fill these gaps. I want another linebacker there. I mean, I was getting nervous. I'll tell you what, you got to remember, he's 34 years old, Adrian Peterson is, and this guy was running like he was 12.
Clayton, what did you think of it?
Where is Star Loutelei, man?
Oh,
where's
he's paid $10 million.
He's getting paid $10 million to eat blockers and get pushed 3.5 yards upfield. That's my point.
Yeah.
Is Fred, you bring up getting another linebacker. What good is a linebacker going to do for you when Star Loutelei is getting pushed into your face and Adrian Peterson has all the room he wants to pick whatever hole he wants to go in and get 20 yards?
I was impressed.
You need a one technique defensive tackle. In the second half, the Bills allowed 7 or 8 rushing yards to AP. That we talked about it before coming on the show. They had allowed very little in the second half. And you know what I didn't see a lot in the second half? Star Loutelei. Star Loutelei has been getting mauled the last 3 games, and it is absolutely correlative to how bad this run defense has been. Absolutely correlative. I'm sick of people being apologists for Star Loutelei and trying to explain to me what a one technique defensive tackle is. I know what a one technique defensive tackle was. Hell, I was a one technique defensive tackle. Mm-hmm. You know what? He doesn't make plays. People say he does his job. No, he is not doing his job. His job is not only to eat blockers. Why can't he make a play? This team misses Harrison Phillips so sorely.
Absolutely.
And this is the worst part of it. This is probably the worst contract that this regime has handed out. $10.5 million per season, and you can't reasonably move on from this bum until 2021. Until 2021, when he's damn near 32 years old, and he's 29 right now, and his lateral quickness is diminishing quickly.
Don't worry, Jordan Phillips made up for it. He helped out fill that.
No. He did not make up for it, Fred. They allowed 100 yards in the first half to a 34-year-old runner. He didn't make up for nothing.
Second half, they adjusted.
They adjusted because Vincent Taylor was in the game, and Star Loutelei was not.
That was what it was, too, because now you put Vincent Taylor in there, and then all of a sudden, Jordan Phillips is a one technique.
And here's my point. Vincent Taylor was brought up from the practice squad this week, and he makes $750,000, and he's doing a better job than your $10.5 million man up there in one technique defensive tackle.
Yep.
Listen, this is the way it goes in the media. When your head coach has to come on the podium in week 8 and answer a question and tell the media that your defensive tackle is getting paid $10 million per year, he's doing a good job. You just can't see on the stat sheet all the time. When you have to defend him, that normally means that a lot of people are seeing otherwise.
Absolutely. We see it. That's JT. JT loves that dude.
Yeah.
I think I took all the words out of his mouth for that one.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not even going to say anything about it. I've said enough about it over the last 365 days. I'll start Loutelei. So like I said, he's overpaid. You're stuck with the contract. I do believe if we do release him this offseason, I think it's around $8 million dead cap. So
7.9 this year, and then 5.6.
$8 million dead cap. You know what? I take the dead
cap. You let Star go, and do you re-sign Phillips?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yes, I do. I do re-sign Phillips. I'm getting Harrison back, and you know what? If Vincent Taylor plays well, then guess what? You got another guy. Boy,
I love Jordan. I just love Jordan Phillips' add energy on this team. I really do.
6
He's a spark
sacks,
plug.
dude. 6
6
sacks.
sacks this year. Yeah.
Crazy.
6 sacks. I mean, he absolutely just crushed Haskell. I
Oh
mean,
my! Did you hear that pop?
Yeah.
You
I
guys
said it
get
in
a
the chat.
chance. Anybody
You
get a
mauled him.
chance? Go back and listen to that pop.
Maul him.
Yeah. Oh, that's what you said. Mauled him. I'm sorry, Clay. You did say that. I remember hearing you say that. Mauled. I heard the pop. I was like, wow, that's a bad pop for a DT.
But no, overall, outside of the AP first half, this defense actually played pretty well today.
Very physical.
We held them when we were supposed to hold them. In the passing down, they had nothing. I was kind of worried about Terry McLaurin coming into this game because, like I say, as for rookie, he's been really giving teams fits. And he actually beat our core. He actually beat White on one deep, but Haskins didn't see him open, thankfully.
Right.
But no, I thought our defense did a good job. I thought Jerry Hughes was energetic today. Jordan Phillips brought his A game again. I think Ed Oliver had a teaching game today. He went against a pretty decent interior Redskin offensive line that was pretty good in the interior. So I think he had a teaching moment that they doubled him a lot. Obviously, when you're playing next to Star Loutelei, you're going to get the double team. I thought Trent Murphy played well until he got injured.
Got his first sack of the year.
Yeah, so I thought he played well until he got injured. I thought overall the defense played well, but like I said, the long runs, the big chunks of yards is still very concerning to me.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have a poll up right now that are you worried about the run defense? So make sure you vote on that and let us know what you think about our run defense right now. But yeah, between last week, the Miami game, and this game, there was an interesting stat. Did you guys catch that today on this? That we've given up over 200 yards for rushing, I think it was 5 times on the coach Sean McDermott so far.
Yeah, and then we only allowed 4. We only allowed 4 under what? Rex, Mike Patton, and Jim Schwartz combined.
Right.
Well, that's like 4 years of defensive games combined.
And 3 of them that year was to Pittsburgh and Miami twice.
Right.
Well, it's not getting any easier. It's not. With the upcoming road, you got to play Baltimore. You got to play Pittsburgh. You got Nick Chubb next week.
And
you got to
Kareem
play and Kareem Hunt. You got to play the Patriots stable again.
Yeah, he's back now too from his suspension.
You got to play Le'Veon Bell again. It's not getting easier. It's not going to get easier, and they're going to find out real quick if they got to make any kind of moves this offseason to improve this run defense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's to the point where teams aren't really passing much on us right now. They're just pounding the rock.
Right.
Because
So do us a favor when you're chatting, when you watch, give us your opinion, what you think, and I'm gonna read some off when we get them. What you think the problem with the run defense, how we may fix it. I mean, what we got to do, what's going wrong? Because like I said, a lot of you guys out there, you coach, you watch it, you see things yourself. So let us know what your opinion is as well. I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's the aggressiveness. Like, I watched a little bit of the Lions and Raider game today, and I wouldn't say that the Raiders defense is better than ours. It's not even close in my opinion. But it's a certain level of physicality I see other teams play with that sometimes our team lags. Like, we make smart plays, we play tough, we're consistent, but it's just the nasty physicality that we don't have on the defense. Like, I'm watching that Raven-Patriot game, and they're smacking people. They're smacking the Patriots around.
I actually thought that we were very physical today, but you also got to look at it that we're young and we missed tackles. Here's the point, is that Levi Wallace had Adrian Peterson about 4 yards behind, and he didn't wrap him up.
Well, he tried. He's
170 pounds.
He's strong.
He tried.
I mean, Adrian's strong. But what I'm saying is that if he would have broke down, you know what I mean? Break down, have an opportunity to wrap him up and let someone come and help you take him down. But he didn't.
But wait a minute. It's actually best he did not go low, because if he goes low and he missed that tackle, everybody else at the line of scrimmage on that particular run play got mauled, because we put everybody in the box. We blitzed the safeties. Mm-hmm. And if he doesn't hold them there for as long as he did, Adrian Peterson is probably still running in Washington.
Well, what I'm saying is that you got to remember, we're still young on defense. This is a very young defense, but I can see that they're starting to develop that. They're getting physical. I'm seeing they're hitting. They are hitting.
What makes me say what makes me reluctant to agree to that point is how weak we are at the point of attack, because the Bills have lost the line of scrimmage at points in games the last 3 weeks. And a physical, nasty defense does not lose at the point of attack. You lose at the point of attack, you're pretty much done for at that point. There have been very few games that I've played in or seen that you lose that line of scrimmage that you end up winning the game. There's been times where it's spotty, where they may lose it for a quarter, where they may lose it for a half like they did today, and they inevitably reestablish the line of scrimmage and they win the game. But that I can't say that this defense is nasty or has an aggressiveness or has an attitude. when I see this defensive line and these linebackers getting mauled in the run game like they do.
But that's where you got to get one of those aggressive linebackers to come in. We don't have it.
Right, but we can't do that right now.
No, I know.
That's something that we can't.
That's what this defensive missing. I'll tell you what, if we had a Von Miller, oh my God, this defense would be, or even a Clowney, this defense would be nasty.
Well, that's the pass rusher, but that still doesn't help your linebacking core.
But that's what we need. We need another aggressive linebacker.
Because the reality, we could have 4 pass rushers up here, and if teams are going to run the ball for 200 yards on us, then guess what?
Yeah,
the pass rushers are they're ineffective. They don't have to throw the ball.
Why are you so? Why are you arguing for a linebacker so much? Because this defense, nickel is base in 2019. You have 2 damn good linebackers from Milano.
Linebackers out there.
You have Milano and Edmonds. You have 2 damn good linebackers, and nickel is base in 2019. Why do you need another linebacker when you have players like Saran Neal, Dean Marlowe that can play a big nickel, which is a linebacker safety? Why do you need another linebacker?
Putting speed out there. You need someone that's going to be aggressive and
come up. What's Alexander doing?
You got to have someone coming big enough that's going to fill that gap.
How big?
Have Saran Neal come up there and fill a gap. He's going to get run over.
Tremaine Edmonds is damn near 6'6". How big do you want him to be?
Linebacker though. What about the outside? Off tackle.
It's a 4-3 defense, Fred. You have defensive ends playing.
Yeah, well, if the defensive ends are coming through and crashing, that's why they're running through. Think about where Jerry Hughes lines up and where do you see Trent Murphy end up when the running back.
That's your first problem right there is if you got Jerry Hughes going against the run. And last year, Jerry Hughes was solid against the run.
I thought Shaq Lawson was aggressive today in the running game.
Yeah, but he's a rotational player now. He's not a starter. See, this is the problem. I think the flaws lie within what our defensive line how our defensive line is rotating now. Because now you're pairing Shaq Lawson. You're not pairing Shaq Lawson with Jerry Hughes. You're pairing Trent Murphy with Jerry Hughes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because now Shaq comes on the field when Jerry Hughes comes off. At one point there, I think I saw Ed Oliver. Vincent Taylor, Shaq Lawson, and Trent Murphy.
That was a screenplay. I know exactly what you're talking about. It was the screenplay. Yeah.
And then you're wondering why we're getting mauled. Like I say, don't get me wrong, we lost Harrison Phillips, and that's huge. That's gonna be a loss that we're gonna feel that all year. We're gonna feel that all year. All right, we're not gonna be able to replace Harrison Phillips this season at all, so we can forget about that. But it just seems like sometimes our rotation is not what it's supposed to be, and I don't know. Maybe next year or going forward, this team should look at a multiple scheme. We talked about this last week. This team has the capability and the players to run a multiple scheme defense where you can go to a 3-4. So maybe that's the route that we should go.
Where was Lorenzo Alexander today?
Where's Lorenzo Alexander is now starting to show his age.
Yeah, he really is. You saw when he had to play a few snaps at weak side linebacker when Matt Milano went down. It was atrocious. He's not really there in the pass rush. He's just been invisible, as has the whole Bills pass rush this whole season outside of Jordan Phillips.
That's why I say we need another linebacker.
Either that or you're going to go to big nickel package all the time because, like I said, in the day, this is still a passing league.
Nickel,
but in the defense of the coaching staff, it seems like we've got ran on more with the third linebacker than we have with the big nickel. Because the big nickel we had versus Mixon and Saquon Barkley and Le'Veon Bell in the beginning of the season, and then we went away from it.
It looks like, I'm telling you right now, that after this Eagles game, everyone's going to come out and just try to run on us.
But that's fine.
Until we can stop the run. I mean, and I think that's been our weakness the last couple of years. I just feel that's what it's been on defense is stopping the running game.
Was it not this time of year, 2 years ago, when the Saints came out and ran 20-some-odd running plays in a row? Was it not this time of year last year when the Colts gashed us, the Bears gashed us? Mm-hmm. It's a theme. It is a concerning theme. And you need to make a move. And I know I'm not agreeing with you, Fred, that it's a linebacker. I think you need a solid one-technique defensive tackle, and you need somebody that can eat blocks and not cost $10.5 million.
Right. What do you look at?
Well, you got to look in the draft. Listen, this is not a position that you pay $10 million for.
No.
It's an ugly position. I'm sorry you find the biggest kid who's the strongest kid in the combine who doesn't have any off the field problems. Okay, we have to keep the culture going. All right.
Yeah, right.
You put him in there just like the Giants did with Dexter Lawrence. Just like the Raiders doing with P.J. Hall. You take people like that and you put them in the middle and you say, hey, go hold 2 blockers and don't move.
No, the Giants got lucky. They picked up Leonard.
Who?
Leonard, right? From the Jets?
Leonard Williams.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. I mean, it's you got to do something. Obviously, you can't do that now, but I think at this point, Star Loutelei, and I'm going to end it off of this, I think he's a lost cause. I think he's a waste of money at this point in time, and I think he's a bad signing.
I think he's soft. I don't think he's aggressive enough to play his position.
He and Trent Murphy are the 2 worst moves that this front office has made. I will die on that hill that those are the 2 worst moves that this front office has made. And the only thing that makes Trent Murphy a better move than Star Loutelei, he has an opt-out after this year, and the Bills can get out of that a gross $9.75 million contract that they gave a 1-year wonder player.
Right. I don't think they do though. They just gave him $2 million. I think Trent Murphy's he's going up. He's moving forward. I like his play. I think he's got a high motor. I think
he's overpaid.
He is overpaid.
He's also being subbed in and out.
If you didn't, he'd be on the IR.
What's the heck?
If you didn't, he might be on injury reserve.
He's not. He got injured today. Came right back in again. It was a shoulder injury.
Star Loutelei and Trent Murphy. I'm sorry, they're just not good. They're hardly even mediocre in this league. They're not good. They're non-existent no matter what facet of the defense is. Pass rush, non-existent. Run defense, non-existent. What the hell are you good for this defense if you're not existent in both those areas?
McDermott's defense. They don't get a lot of sacks in McDermott's defense.
I'm not looking for sacks. I'm looking for you to be relevant.
But I'm just saying. I mean, he does not. He's not a Schwartz. Schwartz, he feasts on getting sacks. That's his defense, putting pressure on the quarterback. Well, McDermott plays position. They play the position well. They know where they're supposed to be. They do their job. They don't get sacks. They don't put pressure. They disguise a lot. A lot of their defense of McDermott is a disguise. They'll show 8 guys in there, 4 come, 4 drop off. That's what confuses these quarterbacks. It's not about putting pressure.
We haven't really
doing your job.
We haven't really talked about it this show because, as we mentioned, the game plan was to run the ball. And the passing offense was efficient. Josh Allen, 14 for 20. That he did his job today.
160 yards in a touchdown.
But I want to know what you guys think about this team passing up on Josh Gordon. I want to know because they passed him up on the waiver claim. They were before Seattle, and they straight up passed up on him.
Let me ask you this. How much playing time has he had in the last 3 years in the NFL?
I don't care. He should have more. I can tell you who he should have more playing time than. He should have more playing time over here than Robert Foster.
If he can make it in the Patriots, what makes you think he's going to make it with the Bills?
No. Josh Gordon would be the best Bills receiver to be on this team since Sammy Watkins got booted out of here. He would have been. He would have been the most talented wide receiver to be on this team in damn near 3 seasons.
But he would have to be available.
What was that? Whoa,
what would have hurt us if he's not available? Then you go back to what you're running already, which is, as you say, inconsistent. Is why we're not blowing teams out.
I understand not trading assets because they're so they love their draft picks. I understand not trading your assets to acquire a receiver at the trade deadline. I don't understand passing up a playmaking receiver when your offense lacks consistency.
Seattle was behind us in the waivers anyways. You
passed them up. They were 24th. Seattle was 28th. That's how the waiver – you had the opportunity to add a weapon to an offense that lacks potency and consistency for virtually for free. The dude costs $1 million, and you passed up on it. Why?
What about the other 31 teams?
What do you mean
who cares about – you don't care about the other 31 teams. You care about your team.
Why did they pass up on them?
You care about your team, but guess what? You just passed up opportunity to get them. I'm with Clayton on this.
He's a liability, though.
You were getting a liability.
He's one drug test away from being suspended.
Okay, then guess what, Fred? What happens if he comes there and he fails a drug test?
Then he's gone.
Okay,
there's no risk of high reward.
What did you lose?
Well, he might not even see the field for Seattle.
What do you lose, though? What did you lose?
Well, why would you want to even take a shot at a guy who might not even play?
Because you're trying to win football games.
So you're bringing in people that might not play?
There's a question in the chat right here and said, how do we get Cole Beasley more involved? Well, you want me to tell you how you get Cole Beasley more involved? Put somebody on the other side of John Brown that people actually respect.
Exactly.
Josh Gordon, you will respect. And if you
think
don't,
they're respecting
you will
Duke Williams?
You will
you think they're respecting Duke Williams?
You can't get him on the field. I say get another wide receiver. Josh Gordon is the guy you want.
But the trade deadline, this is the problem. The trade deadline has passed.
And they're not getting a receiver. They're happy with what they had.
You had a chance at one. You had a chance at one for free.
for free.
They don't want to bring him in. He doesn't fit the culture. Plain and simple.
Screw the culture. Get some talent.
Oh my God! You know what? And this is why Jimmy Johnson could never coach in Buffalo. Someone like that could never coach in Buffalo because we have to stick to this bullshit ass culture. And I'm sorry to say that, but that's what it is.
You're gonna go hit the waiver wire up for a guy that might come in and not even play for you. Why?
Guess what? It's $1 million. Who cares?
Did Corey Coleman play for you? And you
No.
gave him a seventh.
Did
You gave him a
Anquan
seventh
Boldin
round
play
pick
for
for
you?
He didn't even make the team.
Did Devontae Davis play for you?
No,
Did
They all
Anquan
fit
Boldin
the
play?
culture, though, right?
didn't want to.
They all fit the culture, though.
I guess.
And I can guarantee you, they all cost more money than what Josh Gordon would cost in that waiver wire.
I'll tell you this.
I'm not a fan of Josh Gordon, so you guys aren't going to sell me on him. Just plain and
There's
simple.
that. It's
Well, we
not a
can't
matter
tell.
of
He's in Seattle now, so
Yeah, well, let's see
Russell
if he-
Wilson have
let's
another
see
weapon
when
to
he
throw to.
plays.
They're trying to go to the Super Bowl. They're trying to score points. They
Let's
just
see if
scored
he-
40 today.
What was that?
Let's see if he plays. Let's see.
If he doesn't, guess what? You go back to doing what you're doing. You didn't trade. You didn't lose anything. The Patriots lost something for Josh Gordon. That's different. They lost draft
That's not
picks.
the Patriots.
We wouldn't have lost anything.
Somebody brought it up to me saying that his production was lacking the last couple of seasons. Okay, he was in a run-first offense, in an offense that's predicated on throwing the ball out of the backfield and getting it to Julian Edelman with a quarterback that's in the twilight of his career.
And
Josh
he
Gordon.
got out of Patriots because of a knee injury, and you still don't know what the knee injury.
It was false. It was a false injury. He's not
No, I
injured.
saw the game. I saw the game where he was twisted.
Yeah, he's not injured. It was a lie. They
Offense-
tried to put him on IR.
The dynamic of the offense changed completely if you add Josh Gordon. In this front office's complacency to pass up on Josh Gordon will shoot the team in the foot. Just like the team's complacency to pass up on the opportunity to trade for Jadeveon Clowney is why we talk on a week-to-week basis about how the Bills can't get to the quarterback. It will shoot this team in the foot when the season is over, and everyone will say that Josh Allen should have had another.
Let me ask you this: what has Clowney done since he's been in Seattle?
Clowney has
a
done a lot in
presence.
Seattle. He's made a big impact.
and
over there.
they're still barely winning games.
They're winning though. This is you keep saying they're barely winning. This is the NFL. The margin of victory is not that much, whether you're 1-7 or 9-2. It's not
Spending
that much.
money to bring in these guys. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you can't just go out there and grab anybody that's free.
Who have they grabbed?
They haven't grabbed no one because they're doing what they said they're going to do.
You wanna know who they grabbed?
Draft.
You grab Trent Murphy. You grab Star Loutelei.
Yeah,
Those are the
okay,
players
so-
you grab.
So let me get this right. We're building this team as if we're, and I'm not going to say New England. We're
No.
going to go to Carolina, right? In Carolina, Carolina built their team completely through the draft. Correct? Brandon Beane, David Gettleman, they built that team completely through the draft, and they still have that same mode. Am I correct?
I guess, yeah.
From
that's what they're doing.
from McCaffrey to the offensive line to Newton to the defense to Shaq Thompson to Kuechly to Josh Norman. They had them. Entire team built through the draft. What have they won? Give me one team in the NFL right now that built completely through the draft and won a damn thing. One team.
But what about these teams that spend the money to bring in?
Just give me one. There's
Well,
a
these guys that
balance, Brent.
spend the money. The Rams spent the money to bring all these guys in.
No.
They won.
You can't use extremities. You cannot use extremities
just
when
saying.
trying to say that. You're not going to win solely on just building through the draft, and you're not going to win solely by building through free agency. You need to have a
that's what I'm
balance.
saying. So where's the happy medium here?
That's what we're trying to get to. We haven't done anything through the point of acquisitions.
No, I don't know what their thinking is. We don't know what's going on. This is a whole different regime that we've had used to in the past. Before we could say, oh yeah, we see a guy that's out there, they're going to throw money at his feet just to bring him in here, just so they could fill seats in the stadium. But this is a different regime. They're not doing that.
It's
They're
not about filling seats. You're 5-2 going into this game. It's not a question if you need receiver help. It's an obvious need.
We know that it's an obvious need, but something's going on where they see things differently. Do you really think that Josh Gordon coming in there is going to help this team?
You brought in Calvin Benjamin. Why were they so comfortable bringing Calvin
I have
Benjamin?
no idea.
He just showed up to camp 2 years ago at 260 pounds.
I'll tell you this right now.
I was never impressed with Calvin Benjamin coming out.
Well, I guess my question is, why are we so comfortable bringing him in then? Why are we so comfortable bringing Star Loutelei in for $10 million when he's never made a Pro Bowl? I don't even believe.
No.
Why are we so comfortable with bringing Devontae Davis
Because
with his
most of
hamstring
these
ripped off
coaches-
the bone? Why are we so comfortable?
Coaches, when they get a head coaching job, they surround themselves with a staff and players that they're comfortable with that can help sell their system to the new players. I guarantee that they get rid of Star Loutelei after this year.
I'm sorry, but those players, they suck. And all of them are off the roster for a reason. The only one that's left, there's two of them, and it's Dean Marlowe and Star Loutelei. All of them are gone for a reason. And I'll tell you this, people aren't going to like this, but Josh Allen's not as talented as Cam Newton. You are not going to get this team to 15-1 or a Super Bowl with Josh Allen and the lack of receiver talent that Cam Newton had when they went to 15-1 into a Super Bowl. That's not happening with this football team. That won't happen. Josh Allen needs talent. And you pass up on a receiver like Josh Gordon, it's dumb. It was not smart, and it was a sign of complacency.
I'm not happy. I mean, I wouldn't be happy with Josh Gordon. So I thought,
give me a receiver. Who do you think that they could have brought in to help this team then?
I don't even know who's out there, to be quite honest with you. Who do you want to take that's out there? There's not really a lot of wide receivers out there that are actually available.
Exactly, and that's the point. That ties into the point. He was the only one available, and all you had to do was press the button. It's like a vending machine, Fred. Where just say, "Hey, you don't even have to put $1. You just go press the button." All you do is just press the button.
You don't even know if he's going to play for Seattle. So
what does it matter? But guess what? What if he doesn't play?
And then you rattle up. Now all of a sudden you change your locker room by bringing this guy in.
You're not changing anything.
Change the locker room.
You're bringing him in.
The dude smoked weed.
Okay, still
he's fine. He's been playing the last 2 seasons.
Is he good? I'm sorry, but
what did he do for New England? Well, they let him go.
He changed it when he went to New England. It changed the whole dynamic of the offense last year from a defensive scheme, where how you had to play them.
But they were all right with letting him go. He's a retard.
Whoa! Let's stop right there. They were all right with letting him go after you traded for some Mohamed Sanu. After you traded for Sanu, they were.
N'Keal Harry's coming back too.
The rumor was
not let him go.
And their first round pick, N'Keal Harry, is coming back too.
Who?
Their first round receiver that they drafted, he is coming back too.
Yeah, I know that. I've seen that. I like N'Keal Harry. I wish Buffalo would have taken him.
I don't know. I mean, people get too wrapped up into this cancer in the locker room, this problem in the locker room. Guess what? Let me tell you something. When you're winning football games, none of that crap matters. Because when you have a cancer in the locker room, you get rid of them and you go. Now, if this cancer is the problem, and actually, let's put it this way: Ben Roethlisberger could be tabbed as a cancer.
Let me tell you something. If this was the first round for him, Josh Gordon coming from Cleveland, they let him go on waivers, I would definitely tell Buffalo to take him. But he wasn't. He's been around, lost a year, came back, lost, didn't play. No, don't go after someone like him. I'm just saying.
So you don't go after anybody. We just say, okay, hell, we'll just go. We'll see if we make.
No, I definitely think that we should go after somebody if they're available.
Who you can go after now? Trade deadline's passed.
You want to know why?
Nobody available. Who you go after?
The worst part of it is the only reason I'm upset about this is Josh Gordon. I'm not going to talk if he's better than John Brown, but I'll take Josh Gordon over Robert Foster. I'll take him over Isaiah McKenzie. I'll take him over Duke Williams. I'll take him over I'll take him over Rondre Roberts. I'll take him over every receiver we have at that position other than John Brown. Well, that's where the problem is. What?
If he can't make the team.
And guess what? If he doesn't, you lost nothing. That's my whole point. You lost nothing. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. You lost nothing. You tried to trade for Antonio Brown though just 3 months ago, but claiming Josh Gordon at the waiver wire is such a problem. You know what? This regime. You know what? After this year, and I'm happy with their build. I'm not gonna crap on them. I think they're building something special. I think they're building something good here. But if they're gonna be scared to make to hit the buttons and make the moves in the future, this franchise will never win a Super Bowl. And that's what we're gearing toward. Because after this year, it's going to be Super Bowl or bust going forward. And that's just what it is.
Past, JT, and we have said it, and I agree, this team needs to bring in some attitude. I absolutely think they do. But you got to have accountability. If Josh Gordon can't play,
then cut him.
He's not available.
Then cut him, and you lose $1 million. Then
so
cut him.
What did he do? We spend 10 on Star. And we probably lose more things from the vending machine than we gain for freaking contract wise. So, I'm gonna leave it at that because the fact that the complacency of this regime gets me really fired up, and I just can't. But we did have a poll up. Are you worried about the run defense? And 70% of you said yes, 20% you said no, and 11% of you said that you pray every week. I can't blame you. I'm probably praying right with you. So. The schedule doesn't get any easier.
No running backs
going forward, especially if you're worried about the run defense. We do have a dangerous Cleveland team next week. Hopefully, they're just ready to implode after this loss to the Broncos. Then we go to Miami, which don't forget the Wide Receivers podcast. We will be down there in the Bills Backers Miami party at the Elbow Room, so make sure you're at the Elbow Room with Coles. Bills Backers Miami Wide Receivers. It's going to be a great time, 2 to 6 p.m. on that Saturday before the game. Then we have Denver, who also has a two-headed monster in Philip Lindsay and Royce Freeman. Then Ezekiel Elliott with Dallas. Then Mark Ingram, Lamar Jackson. Then Connor Samuels in Pittsburgh. And then back to New England, as Clayton stated earlier, Le'Veon Bell. So this road ain't getting any easier for this run. So we got to figure that out. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess we're going to see what happens, you know?
You're going to have to man up. If this team is going to make a playoff run, you need to win these next 3 games because it's not going to get any easier than this next 3-game stretch. You get these 3 wins, you go into Dallas with 9 wins, and you muster 1 or 2 more wins out the rest of the remaining schedule. That's what you have to do. You cannot drop a game to the Broncos. You cannot drop a game to the Browns. You cannot drop a game to the Dolphins. You can't. You get your 9 wins now when you can, so you don't have to make up with it against Pittsburgh, against Baltimore, against New England. I'm scared of the Jets game and all on. Well, no, never mind. I'll take back. But if they can't defend the run, I am scared of it. I am scared of it if they can't defend the run. So get your 9 wins when you can and get to the playoffs when you can.
Well, hopefully by that Jets game that they are just out of playoff contention. Actually, they're probably just sitting people because that's week 17. So it's very likely they start sitting.
They might not even have Adam Gase at that point. They might not have Adam Gase at that point.
Hopefully they still do. Hopefully they have Adam Gase for the next 4 years.
Oh yeah.
I'm really scared of Jim Harbaugh getting that job.
I agree.
I've been saying it for the last 2 years that what scares me is Jim Harbaugh leaving college and coming to New York Jets.
It's timing up just right. Michigan's getting really upset. They're getting really upset, and the Jets, I don't think they're happy with him. But we'll see.
I was about Greg Williams being over on that side. And I'll tell you what, Greg Williams will adjust as the season goes on. He's the one that I worry about being over there on the New York Jets, just to be honest with you.
The only thing I worry about Greg Williams is him coming out of his pocket paying for somebody to hurt someone.
Henry Anderson.
That's what I'm
worried about him, man. So the Bills are 6-2, guys. 6-2.
Cool. Awesome.
I'll take it. There's definitely some flaws. There definitely some things need to be fixed. I will say I agree with that. Our schedule has been kind of easy, you know, and I don't know what's going to happen these next 5 games. I don't know. I don't know what team's going to show up. I don't know what team we have. But final thoughts, Clayton Garrett, I come to you first.
You know, this team has had a lot of success. And while we will sit up here and analyze the problems they have, the little minuscule problems they have, this reinforces the point that we talked about earlier. They're winning games. What you will about them getting blown out by the Eagles, say what you will about them losing close to New England, they're winning games. They're 6-2 for the first time since 1993. And they're going up against 3 teams that collectively have won 5 games all season these next 3 weeks. This team very well could be 9-2 in Thanksgiving. Be excited. Be optimistic. I think this Bills team is set up to make the playoffs this year and hopefully win a playoff game. Hopefully these problems, they iron them out, they fix them out by the end of the season, and they come away with a playoff win this season, and they can make a true push.
Fred?
Well, I'm going to tell you it again. Hey, if you guys want to get some nice swag like we're all sporting here, go to the page, click that buy button, buy yourself a hoodie. It's going to be cold soon. You're going to need a nice hoodie. Go up to those Bills games. Why not get a nice cold front, put your name on the back, show your support for Cold Front Report. But like Clayton just said, this team is doing something that no Bills team has done in years. Sean McDermott, McBean, whatever you guys want to call them, they're doing things that a lot of these regimes have never done. And I myself, I'm happy with what's going on. I know that watching these games, I'm not happy sometimes at the things that they do, but guess what? It's a fun season. Enjoy it. Before you know it's going to be over with. But like Clayton says, I'd like to see this team win a playoff game. We haven't won a playoff game since 1995 against the Miami Dolphins. So hopefully we can finally get over that hump, win a playoff game, and give us more reason to celebrate this team. So be sure to follow us on Cold Front and Twitter and Instagram.
Yep, make sure you do that. I'm ecstatic about this season. Like I said, I know we went at it tonight about some things. I think it's all because we all want the team to be good. I feel like with the way the AFC is this year, that there's going to be some team that maybe potentially sneaks into the AFC Championship game, and I don't see why it couldn't be us if we made the right moves. And I'm not saying we still can't do it, but I just felt like this is an opportunistic year. There's a lot of dominoes that fell before this year even started. In between weeks 1 through 4 that really have fallen in our favor.
And another one fell today.
Yeah. So I think that it's gonna be very interesting to see where this team goes. But I'm hoping that after this game, this defense got their swag back, because this is a very talented defense. It's a very talented unit. I think our pass rush is lacking at times, but it's a solid unit. And I think we have something special here in Buffalo. But like Fred said, make sure you follow us on Twitter. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. We have a lot of good stuff that comes out. I got a couple post-game interviews coming from the great Pat Freeman tomorrow. He sent us. So stay tuned to see who he interviewed today after the game, and we'll be releasing those. Those are exclusively on Cold Front Report. You will not find those on any other independent media outlet from him except ours. We may not push merch down your throats every day, or maybe huge on YouTube and things like that, but we do our job. And stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching as always. Is this month Veteran Month for the NFL?
Yep. Yep.
So after the night show, we'll be doing every week. We'll before the show, we'll put a post up in the morning on Sunday mornings about having your loved ones that were veterans. If you're a veteran, have your name called out in the show, and we'll start reading those off like we did last year, because we like to pay our respect as well. But guys, 6-2, we're going to Cleveland next week. This is a team that's ready to implode in Cleveland. A lot of egos, a lot of money, a lot of problems. As Pete Diddy said,
been on the road for almost a month.
More money, more problems, right? So let's see if we can go into Cleveland, get a win. Everybody, it's holiday season coming up, so I know it's going to be a stressful time. A lot of traveling. Be safe through this whole other than that, go Bills. We are DONE. We're done. So we will catch you guys next week, same place, same time. Later.
Cold Front.